Okay, here we go with the next section. We're on the shoulder anatomy. Shoulder is one of my favorite joints. It's just plays a huge role in terms of function. Doing anything that you want to be able to do, trying to get your client to get at those goals that are important to them. Shoulder, it's just a huge deal in so many of them. Okay, let's get into this. Just to kind of work you through some of the big anatomy. Your clavicle, there's SC joint. If you can find your clavicle, your collarbone, as he sticks out for most people, and then just follow it all the way across. So find your collarbone, follow it all the way across to meet your chest, right in there. That's your SC joint, sternoclavicular joint. And then staying with the collarbone, keep going way across the other way towards your shoulder till it starts to run into this bigger bone. It kind of bumps right into it. It kind of ends. The bigger bone is the acromion. Top of your shoulder, that joint is the acromioclavicular joint, the AC joint, commonly damaged when somebody separates their shoulder. So that's the AC joint right there, acromion. Top part of the scapula that you've been studying already. Coming in here, this is the big joint we're going to be looking at. Most of your therapeutic approaches in the clinic will be around the glenohumeral joint. You got the humeral head. See how it's kind of like a big ball, and it fits right in that little hole in there. It's like a C or a socket. That is the glenoid fossa in there. So your humerus. These are the different motions of the shoulder. See if I can switch. Okay, can you see my arm? Not too good, really. Yeah, it's not really working. So this is, again, you'll just have to see it and do it in the lab. But it kind of shows the different motions. When you're lifting your arm straight up, we talked about that, that's the shoulder flexion. Straight back, shoulder extension. And then shoulder abduction and shoulder adduction. It's angel in the snow, shoulder up to the side and back. And then shoulder horizontal ab and ad. This arm would come across, so you're bringing your arm across to your chest and back. Horizontal, that horizontal plane. Shoulder horizontal adduction, abduction. And then this is a key one. Medial and lateral rotations, probably what Joe Deep uses those terms, medial and lateral. In the clinic, therapists will commonly say internal rotation, external rotation. Internal rotation, this hand is coming towards the stomach. That would be internal rotation. And then going the other way, the hand is coming with the elbow bent at 90 degrees. The hand is coming out. External rotation. Why is this such a key deal clinically? These are the rotator cuff muscles, commonly torn, injured, common therapy focus. These are the shoulder kinematics. You think of this, the humeral bone right here, and different things that might help you visualize how it works. Internal and external rotation, medial and lateral rotation, internal and external rotation. What that really is, no matter where the shoulder is, whether it's here, wherever, is this bone spinning in and the bone spinning out. When it's spinning in, see this arrow right here? When it spins in, it's internal rotating. And when it's spinning out, it's externally rotating. Shoulder flexion and extension, it's coming straight up and straight back. And then the abduction and the adduction coming up to the side. Angel in the snow, and back down to the side. Shoulder kinematics. The reason why the shoulder usually gets so much therapy and is injured so commonly, and literally when somebody gets over the age of 80, it just starts to fall apart, is because it's such a vulnerable joint. The shoulder is a very, very vulnerable joint. Why is that? Because it goes everywhere. Just move your shoulder around. Just do a big circumduction, circle, lifting it up, lifting it to the side. It's just amazing, everything that it can do, everywhere it can go. But that amazing quality comes at a price. It's The fact that it's so mobile makes it so vulnerable to injury. See how it kind of rolls and glides, this rolling action, gliding down this. It's like a big ball gliding around in there in a socket. This is kind of a graphic showing up that how the joints spin, glide, and roll. Just to get at some of the kinesiology, we won't get into too much in depth of this on the midterm. Some of it, but just basic stuff. Roll happens kind of like a tire rolling along. That humeral head rolls. It's a thing I think you should know in that fossa. And then sometimes the joints glide on each other. You're playing around with the fake hand bones in the lab or the cadavers. You can see how they just kind of glide one on the other. And then they roll. Great example of rolling, we'll get into this, is the wrist. It just rolls around. So these joints all come together. Again, this makes it highly vulnerable to injury. When you supinate, go palm up, it's rolling one way, and when you pronate, it goes back the other way. Thinking about opening a door, you're rolling your wrist joint back and forth. Here's just a graphic showing how it works and kind of how they balance each other out. It's not one in isolation, but the spinning, rolling, gliding kind of together. All right, so that is the end